Hello out there in the YouTuberverse, it's Max, and I am back at you with some MTG Arena action. It's been a minute, everybody out there. How are you? I hope everything's going well. Hope you're staying safe and healthy. Okay? We are still, at time of recording, in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, and so it's best for me to release a video by myself, away from everyone, and we have been doing a job of making sure we are distancing ourselves from each other, which is a little sad, but with services online, we've gotten to kind of stay connected and keep bringing you all content. That being said, let's get to business. We have, and I know you're gonna not believe me, but I have a constructed video, a standard video. I know, standard. And I haven't played Standard in quite some time, mostly because there hasn't really been a deck that's tickled my fancy. I think the metagame has definitely gone to a place that I'm a little bit more interested in it now than I was before. I think Mono Red is still very good, but I think that Mono Red is good. I think that the Teamer decks are all pretty cool. The Clover deck, the Wreck decks, I think those are all pretty interesting. The Jeskai Fires deck's kind of cool. So we're in a much more like mid-range grindy kind of meta right now, I think. And there's still Rakdos, Sacrifice. There's a lot of things that are pretty viable in Standard where nothing is like holy f***ing crap. But there are a few decks that are very good. But I don't think there's one that just completely obliterates the rest right now, which is one I like to play. And also, I came across this deck on the Magic Fest online Magic Fest that Channel Fireball was doing because of the COVID-19 outbreak, and I saw this blue-white blink deck, which really intrigued me. It turns out that not too long ago, Martin Yuza did an article on Channel Fireball about it, and it seems like a pretty cool, spicy brew, so I thought I would bring you a couple games just playing. Probably end up doing some traditional because I'd like to look at the sideboard as well. So we'll do a quick deck tech and run through that for you. We have 4 Charming Prince and 3 Fibblethip the Lost on the board, or on the 2-drop on the board, really? It's been a while since I've had to deal with constructed decks. Charming Prince, hopefully you're familiar with it. It can scry 2, gain 3 life, or blink a creature. Technically it is a slide. And Fibblethip, when it ETBs, you draw a card if it entered from your hand. If it entered from the library, you draw 2 cards instead. So that's kind of cool. Brazen Borrower on the 3-drop. 3 Deputy Detention is a newer card I've added because I think it's just very good in the meta. I've played 4 or 5 games with this so far, and from what I've read through the Martin Yuza article and saw on the streams, that this card seems to be pretty good. And that the card I replaced it with, which was Omen of the Sea, is kind of replacement level in this deck, and I agree after having played with it a couple times. 2 Mystical Dispute, because you kind of just have to be doing that at this point. Teferi Time Raveler, there's a 4 of, because of course. Thassa, Deep Dwelling is kind of the engine of the deck. It will blink cards for us. It will also tap creatures down in the late game, and Thassa is very good at kind of taking over the game later on. Elite Guard Mage, another card that you want to blink, comes into play. You get 3 life and draw a card. 2 Time Wipe for the uh-ohs. Elspeth Conquers Death, again for the uh-ohs. And 1 Cavalier of Dawn, a nice little blink target, but really kind of the thing we're trying to do, the dirty, is Agent of Treacheries. Yeah, we just want to steal 2 of their permanents basically every single turn. Or more if we can, but that is hard to do because there are more slides in this than blinks. But yeah, stealing 2 permanents a turn is very hard for the opponent to catch up on, and that is what we're trying to do there. Sideboard is 4 Devout Decree because, you know, black or red, mono red is the toughest matchup for this deck. Aether Gust, again, comes in against the red decks. Dovin's Veto comes in against some of the Jeskai Fires, the Teamer Rex, all that kind of stuff, the Clover decks, all of that. Brazen Borrower, we have a 4th one hanging out in case we need it. We have 2 more Mystical Dispute that would obviously come in a lot of those blue-based matchups. And we have a Heliod's Intervention, which there it is, okay. Artifacts or enchantments, and basically it's coming in against the Clover deck. Can also come in against the Teamer Wreck deck. So, pretty cool list. Let us jump in and try some traditional standard ranked. And I will warn you, I haven't played in a long time, and I am still very low rank. So, I am bronze at the moment, and I have just not played. And you know, if you watch our content a bunch, that I am more a limited player than I am a constructed player. I don't play Standard a ton, but I think now is kind of a cool time to try it out. So don't begrudge me my rank. I am pretty passable, and this is a new deck, so it's kind of a discovery video. And what I really want to do is I want to try to start hunkering down and like trying to get good, and try to play a little bit more videos in that ilk. So if you want to see something like that, of course, let us know down in the comments here. We have a 2-drop, which is kind of like the most important thing in the deck. We have the ability to get our blue source online. From there, we're a little kind of like, what are we doings? But I think that this is good enough. The Scry 2 off the Charming Prince should be pretty good. If we're against red, we're in a little bit of trouble. The Guard Mage will gain us 3 life. The Time Wipe will get us there. I think this is okay. I don't think it's phenomenal. I don't know as though I've seen a phenomenal hand out of this deck yet. Deputy was an ace draw, especially with our opponent playing a mountain here. We're going to activate and use our Fabled Passage. I should, in theory, wait to get something, but basic island may be a little bit of a tell, but is what it is. I'm 100% going to play the Charming Prince. The minor question is Scry 2 or gain life. I think the Scry 2 is far more important here. I think we want both of these. I think we want Fibblethip first. We have a 3 in the Deputy. I don't know as though we'll want to cast it. If we don't, we'll play the Fibble, and we'll see how it goes. I'm interested to see if they want to answer the Charming Prince, and they do. All the meanwhile pumping the Steamkin, plays a Mountain, and then a Robber of the Rich. They're gonna hit us pretty hard here. So I think we are going to end up deputying on this turn. So they get our Fibble, we get our land. So let's go ahead and play Castle Ardenvale and then deputy out the Runaway Steamkin here. And kind of just take care of things. For the second, anyway. I won't block here. I don't want to get blown out by a shock. I don't mind taking 2 right here, especially if my follow-up being Elite Guard Mage. So they'll draw themselves a nice card. Don't blame them. Brazen Borrow was a nice draw. We don't really have a 2-drop to go with it. We might as well wait to Fabled because it's 4 lands. So we can just do that for free. So it's not like there's an advantage here, even though next turn there's no real advantage to playing it here. We don't want to play a 3-drop. We don't want to play the Brazen Borrow. We don't want to bounce something. We could bounce our Fibble because it's the opponent controls is the bounce caveat there. So but I still don't want to necessarily do that here when I can just play an untapped land and see what we can do from here. So we got another Robber down. And the Elite Guard Mage is holding everything back, which is fantastic. I think I'm going to play another Elite Guard Mage. I'm going to follow up with a Temple of Enlightenment. And you can see the Elite Guard Mage just undoing so much of what the opponent's done. I'm keeping a nice big hand. I'm gaining back life. I'm holding back blockers. Embercleave is the card we're most afraid of. Full stop. That card is very, very good, and it is by far the most important card in this matchup. I am going to follow up with Temple of Enlightenment. I want to try to find gas. I don't want to overdraw here. Charming Prince is an interesting one. Yeah, I think we can keep it. We're getting to the point where we're going to start looking at Agent of Treachery to do some things. The question is, do we attack with this Elite Guard Mage? I think the answer is probably yes. We need to kind of do something. We're not going to beat our opponent over too long a game. So let's see what they do with this Robber. Because they're going to shock and then block. That is fine. If they had double blocked, also would have been fine. I think that's a totally acceptable move. We want to try to get this game over with as best we can. So Castle Vantress comes down. That takes the onus off having to do things if we need to. We could Charming Prince here and use our Elite Guard Mage. That seems kind of attractive to me. That lets us also hold up Brazen Borrower. We can't... let's see if they have a response here. We can't double the Brazen Borrower. Bone Crusher Giant. I think we will just go ahead and return... No, wait a second. It has to be a non-land permanent opponent controls. Yeah, that's fine. Not a big deal for us losing the Charming Prince. We still get the value. And that's pretty nice. We have the Brazen Borrow if we need it. If they don't do anything of consequence, the question is, do we Fibble? Bounce Fibblethip back to our hand. They didn't draw a land. Jeez. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and... Actually, let's just return their Robber of the Rich and just kind of stack their hand up with things. We're putting them way behind the 8-ball here. 1, 2, 3, 4... Okay, fantastic. We're going to take a land. We're just going to try to punch them while they're down on mana. And see what we can do. Yeah, all they get is the Anax, which is pretty nice. Okay, we're going to play the Thassa, and that should stitch this game up. Yeah. That is game over. Because now we get to start stealing stuff. I'm just going to keep stealing their lands. Okay. Mono red. So, we need to figure out what comes out in this matchup. Cavalier of Dawn seems kind of expensive. I don't know about Agent of Treachery. I mean, it closes out a game, but it's very slow. We do have to kind of aggressively aim for this. I don't know as though Brazen does enough. It's a 3-1 that dies to every piece of removal. So we bring in all of that. I don't think we need Mystical Disputes here. Bring in Aether Gusts. And I think that's how we do it. We're going a little lighter on creatures, but not a ton. The Brazen Borrowers obviously is the big one, but that's not a big deal. We still have 19 creatures in our deck. So I think that's okay. Elspeth Conquers Death seems a little questionable to me. I just don't know if there's better. Target player gains twice X life is interesting. We could also use this against their Embercleave. Is that an over? I'm going to try it, because I don't know. So I think the best thing to do is experiment in that case. And maybe that's a bit of an overboard, but I don't think so. I think this is our toughest matchup. We got lucky on the first one. Those Elite Guard Mages just doing all the work. Unfortunately, we have to mulligan. And this one looks like a keeper. We're going to put a time wipe on the bottom. This is not a good hand by any stretch, I will say. We need some big help from the Scribes. We need our opponent to not be super low to the ground. That was not. 7-drop was not what I wanted. Fibble I will take, though. I'll live with it. I'll play it on turn 2. It gives me something to do. I can trade off with the Scorch Bitter if they don't just ace it. It's something. It's not much of anything, but it's something. It replaces itself. Then hopefully we can find something. Let's see what opponent does here. Anax is quite good. That means if we trade off with the Scorch Bitter, we're still just getting hosed, but I gotta do what I gotta do. I think the block there is correct. Not taking damage seems important. In a world of taking damage. I think we take Anax here. We stop the token from attacking. I don't... In a theoretical world, I stop it from attacking. I don't think I stop it from attacking. I don't think I block that card. Now, if they... Okay, if they tap out, now if they swing, obviously I'll block. Can't... Unfortunately, can't block there. Oh, why wasn't that a land? I think we Teferi here. I think we Teferi and bounce the Runaway Steam Can.
Let's slow this down. Hey,
slow them down as much as we can. It does not have haste. They can pop off the counters and shoot Teferi. They could try to blow up the Deputy. I don't know if there's a card necessarily that does that for them. But we just need to buy time. Devout Decree is a nice draw. Castle. I don't think we have time for the Castle Vantress. Oh, that's so hard. I think we're going to keep it. If they... The reason being, we can bounce the Deputy and then destroy everything. The problem is Anax is going to put in a ton of counters, I think, if we do that. So it's very hard to say. We'll see what we can do here. Deputy's going to get blasted. Okay. I'm thinking
might be a bad idea.
We could get rid of Anax here. We could play Fibble. Fibble means we can block the Unchained Berserker. And we can Devout Decree. We'll see. This Devout Decree is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Opponent plays Castle Embrath. Experimental Frenzy. Interesting. Let's go ahead and Devout Decree the Annex here before first strike damage happens. I don't think we can go for... I think I do want this land. The Experimental Frenzy is just so good. But we've managed to clear up a lot of our board trouble. I think we just play the Elite Guard Mage here.
Don't worry. I got this.
Yeah. We'll be able to Fabled Passage here. Then we can look towards a time wipe, depending on, like, if they go for filling up the board. We'll see what they do. It just stops you from playing cards in your hand, right? Steamkin is fine. They're a little glutted, or not glutted, they're a little stuck on land. Robber was a hell of a draw. It was a hell of a good draw out of the opponent. Yeah, this is insane. Their top deck was, I don't want to say perfect, but nearly perfect. But the nice thing is they did not attack into the Elite Guard Mage. We're going to have to board wipe here. I don't think we can return the Experimental Frenzy. I think we just have to hope they get unlucky here. After they just got so ridiculously lucky, I think it's on the swing of things that they get a little unlucky. And just rip 2 haste creatures. Not so much unlucky. If we draw an untapped land, I would consider double Guard Mage here. We can, but Teferi's actually very good with the Experimental Frenzy because we lock something up in their hand. That stage very good. They get a land off that. They can play the Steamkin. They can play follow-up. Alright, they got very lucky twice in a row off the Frenzy. Played land instead off the deck. Just played Bone Crusher Giant. Understandable. Okay. So I think we will bounce the Bone Crusher Giant. We take 2. No, target of a spell.
I've got
I think we play Elite Guard Mages here. We just need to go up in life if we can help it. Do we want Thassa? I don't think yet. I think we just want the immediate life gain, and then we'll worry about Thassa. Charming Prince was a good draw. Fervent Champion. It's all 4, I think. Ember Cleave. Okay. That's not a bad thing. I think we play the Agent and we take the... Well, they still control the Ember Cleave, right? So I don't think we take the Ember... Well, I don't think we Agent for the Ember Cleave yet. I think we save the Devout Decree for that.
Here we go.
And we'll play the Charming Prince. That lets us hold up the Devout Decree. So I think that's pretty good. We can't Fibble and Devout Decree, so we have to Devout Decree. So Elite Guard Mage is going to definitely put us back into the thick of things. Target permanent off of Elspeth Conquers Death is nice. I'm just looking. I don't even think I care a ton about this Embercleave. Just debating on how I want to handle. I think we want to Devout Decree a Fervent Champion so that we keep an Elite Guard Mage. We definitely don't need a Plains here. We have one in hand already. Okay, back down to 11. Opponent has no follow-ups because they still have... Interesting, they didn't elect to get rid of the Experimental Frenzy.
I've got it.
So let's go ahead and Agent of Treachery. Take the Embercleave. So that's 14 damage off of Thassa. 15, 16, 17, 18. We can't quite kill them. But we can get darn close. I don't even really need to steal anything here. I'm just going to draw cards and gain life here. Okay. Got there. Nice. Alright, took us all the way up. Sadly, to rank 3. But that's kind of the idea, and we got, I think, which is one of our weakest matchups. I think we managed to steal that one. So let's try it again. See what we can do with this Blink deck. But it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty good. I think our sideboard seemed... We didn't see the board of, you know, that god that's white. His intervention. That one. Heliod. But you know the one. Heliod's intervention we didn't get to see against the red deck. But it looked like it would have been pretty good there. Because we would have gotten the Embercleave or we would have gained twice X life. That late would have just been an insane blowout. So I think it's correct. I think the way we boarded was at least on point. Let me know if you've played this before and you think I'm wrong or think I'm off slightly on my boarding. Let me know. We get to go first. We have no 2-drop. I think we have to mulligan this. This is not great either. I think we bottom an island. And we keep it. We just bounce something with Brazen Borrower. If we have to. It's not great. Like, you need asking a lot of this scry. And Castle Ardvale can go to the bottom. This next draw step is big for us. If we can draw a Fibblethip or Charming Prince, I'll feel okay about it. Ooh, I'm not feeling okay. Alright, so we're against... I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm just going to have this enter tapped. Not that I'm super worried about the life against an Arboreal Grazer deck. They're going to win by board presence. So a Bant deck here. Perhaps. Okay. Some kind of Bant Euro deck. Usually these are Teamer decks, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll see what white brings to the table here. Sorry if you're yelling at the computer or telephone. Saying, of course it's this deck, you idiot. Again, not a big standard player. But we'll just shut off any shenanigans on our turn. No need to bounce the Grazer. Right now we're just kind of keeping eyeballs in the graveyard. I imagine this is going to be a Green Cavalier. 1/5. Could be a Hydroid Krasis. Let's see. Circuitous Root. Okay, interesting. See what they put in. Basic lands or gates or a mix. I see Blossoming Sands. Okay, Guild Gates. So this is a full 5-color deck here. I think I just want a card, so I'm gonna bounce the Grazer. If they want to recast it, they can recast it. It really doesn't do much. Okay. Holding up Mystical Dispute. Not that's going to be super relevant here, but we can counter any spell. Looks like they're in their graveyard looking at Euro, maybe? Like, you need a lot more cards if you're going to do that. I mean, my hope is they just go, like, Arboreal Grazer, miss the land, try to play, like, Nissa, and we can just snag Nissa with Mystical Dispute. There's the Grazer. There's a trigger. There's the missed land. Euro. Yeah, you got it. I'm not going to counter, just make them tap out. If they have a follow-up, I will snag the follow-up. Okay, they hit a land off their draw. We know that because they didn't play one off the Grazer. So now their hand is 3 spells. Let's see what they do here. Elspeth Conquers Death would be a great draw here. Arboreal Grazer. Absolutely resolves. Let's go ahead and flash out the Brazen. Back up to Fairy? Yeah, I think so.
This might be a bad idea.
I don't think we're itching to use the Deputy yet. We're hoping we can kind of chomp there because they do have a lot of incentive to block there because they want to get the graveyard full for Euro. They need 2 more cards. I do believe. Yeah, 5 other cards to get back Euro. And the nice thing is if we can dictate pace of play. Opponent going for a Blast Zone here. I'll probably end up using Teferi on something. They get a card, which is fine. It puts 4th card in the yard for Euro. If they have to get rid of their other Euro for that, that's great. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of the Teferi here. I will not probably recast the Teferi.
Let's try this.
Can this do any permanent or just a non-land permanent? Non-land permanent. The question is, do we cast the Cavalier or just cast it to put pressure down? I think so. We'll submit 0. I'm not super interested in getting rid of my own Brazen Borrower. But 4/6 Vigilance is not bad. We don't have anything we can return with it at the moment. But that's okay. Alright, they're a Realm Cloak Giant. That's okay. Don't know what to expect out of this 5-color deck, so no problems there. No problem there. We're not really... Our instant speed effects are not casting spells, so... Okay, they did have a land, so we know the state of everything at the moment.
That's more like it.
We will 100% pay 2 life. Okay. That's a start. Right now, they're just itching to try to get something into their yard. They'll probably end up casting this giant, I think. Yeah, it looks like they have the mana for it. We can deputy the giant if we wish. The problem is then the blast zone kind of gets us. So I'm not itching to do the deputy. I'm not really itching for much of this. Okay, they're going for the blast zone right now to get rid of Teferi. That's interesting. They wanted to get Euro out pretty badly. So the nice thing is here we just get to Brazen Bar over the Euro. Unless we draw something to blink the agent, which would be fantastic. Then we just steal it. Put it fully on getting Euro out. That's really a deep play to drop that blast zone. That blast zone was very valuable, I think. More so than blowing up their own Teferi to get back at Euro. Looks like opponent's really having some... Whoa! Opponent really had some mechanical trubs there. This is odd. I didn't expect to be able to go to my combat step. Okay. I will go ahead and play Elite Guard Mage here. And now they're activating Castle Vantress instead of like holding up a Mystical Dispute. I thought maybe they drew a Mystical Dispute and they didn't want to tap out for it. That's interesting. Well, I will play Teferi Time Rattler then.
You show remorse. I'll show restraint.
I'm going to return Agent of Treachery
Enough.
in my hand.
I have a plan.
And I have a backup one. And now I have a Charming Prince. Opponent has no pressure for Teferi. If they Euro, we get to Agent of Treachery now, so it just takes playing any good permanent completely off the table. I think. Unless they're holding up Mystical Dispute, like, in addition. It's really the only way they get us. But we get to Teferi them. So it's like, I just don't see how they get around this. It looks like they're going to Euro, but I'm going to steal it. Interesting. Okay. And they got rid of their other Euro to do that, is that right? No, they still have one. Okay, they left the other Euro. I don't know. What are you doing, opponent? I feel like I have them locked down pretty hard here. Well, if they blink their Euros, up to? I'm playing this in my deck and I don't know the exact text on it. Up to, okay. Because you get, if you blink your own Euro, you lose it. So is that the plan? So they're going to lose that Euro. It's going to come back and trigger, but it's going to go to their graveyard. I don't know if opponent knows that. I would like your Thassa, please. And I should have Teferi'd before I did that. 100%. Even with them tapped out. I mean, it's not modern, but it's just good practice is good practice. Like, you just do it because. Now let me think for a second. I definitely want to Treachery them. I just don't know what I want to steal. I think let's just take their Castle Vantress. I think they have better things to do with their mana, but I really can only take them off of red. I can't take them off. I couldn't have taken them off the Realm Cloak Giant. But at this point, I have an Agent of Treachery plus Thassa Deep Dwelling on board. Like, I just don't know how they overcome this. It just seems to me like it's just really difficult. They don't know my hand. They don't know my hand is insane either. So they're going to bounce their own Thassa, I take it?
Stand by and watch.
So that we can't just keep Agent of Treachery? You have to do that, right? Like, you're kind of obligated to do that? I think. Yeah, it looks like that's what they're aiming to do. Understandable play here. So, likely to recast the Thassa, but get very little value off of it. I think we Charming Prince our agent. If we draw land, we just agent. If we wish. But once we agent, we get the heroine? Not Thassa. Okay. That's interesting. Alright, they have 3 euro in their graveyard. They're gonna growth spiral? Okay. I don't quite get it. I don't even know what I want to do now because all this is kind of junk. Huh. I wasn't expecting that. Question is, do I just keep going after land? There's no point in blocking.
I've got it.
Okay. I think we just agent here. Take their guild gate. Because if I can take another white source... I mean, at this point, if I can just pick their lands apart, I just don't know how they win. Because now they're tapping down so low to do things. They have to really think about that Realm Cloak Giant. Because if I can steal another land, they can't cast it. At the moment, if they play a good card... I mean, they have to know what I'm... I mean, they don't have to know, because I don't really know what they're doing. Okay, they're a Golos deck. Makes sense if they're 5 colors to be playing the Tireless Pilgrim. That's understandable. If they dig up a cool land, I'm just going to take it. And that's not a cool land. Looks like a cast hero. Yeah. Charming Prince here. Charming Prince here. Plus.
Trust me, I have a plan.
No attacks. No turn. I'll do what I said and take them off of red. Ish. Not really, but ish. So now I have the the ability I can start aiming to activate Golos if I can steal enough stuff. I don't know how much I need to steal, but I don't know how opponent overcomes this. They can just cast the Realm Cloak Giant. They can cast Thassa, but that doesn't do anything. We have instant speed time wipe if we somehow really need it? There's Thassa. Be a creature you control, right? You control, yeah. Circuitous Root's fine. Looks like they're going to try to shore up their mana a little bit. Not precisely sure. I mean, I can't say much, because it's not like we're presenting something ridiculous in terms of a clock. I think we just... This is a non-land party. I think we just bounce Thassa. The opponent wants to... Arboreal Grazer, that's fine. 2, 4, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Not really doing a lot. I think we just tie up Thassa. Bounce Arboreal Grazer.
I I won't. I'll protect you.
Going back down to their starting life total. Yeah, we'll play Teferi.
This isn't a fight you can win.
Keep the new Teferi. We'll up him.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
We'll take a Fibble. We'll play an Elite Archmage. Just try to keep hands, keep cards going. Hope they don't have a board wipe. Okay. Thassa finally means we can actually start to steal stuff every turn. Elspeth Conquers Death seems like it'll answer things pretty well. Just kind of not hoping for a board wipe. There's a time wipe. Alright. I still think that's fine. We're up cards. We're up cards in hand. Opponent's going to be able to Euro or Kenrith thing. Okay. This Kenrith is fine. A Boiled Razor, and they're tapped out with Kenrith. We'll play an Elspeth Conquers Death. Get rid of Kenrith. So don't feel like dealing with that nonsense. Do we want to return the Elspeth Conquers Death to our hand? We'll go with yes.
Don't worry. I got it.
Okay. And we're in pretty good shape here. We just got to figure out exactly how we're gonna navigate the end of this game. We have one more Agent of Treachery. 27 cards. We have the Thassa down. It looks like they'll probably Thassa plus Euro. But that's not even really a good combo because then Euro just dies again. But they also know I have the Elspeth Conquers Death in my hand to exile a Euro. But I could also just exile the Elspeth. Or the Thassa. With Elspeth. See what they do with the Thassa here. I mean, Euro's just a card and 6 life for 4 mana and a bunch of cards out of it. It looks like that's what they're going for again. I mean, I like the animation when Euro enters the battlefield. It's cool. But I don't see it as a game-winning move. So exile that. Plus Teferi.
Here we go.
We can Fibble. Okay, so I could have played the Temple. The life doesn't so much matter in this match, but just good principle, I think, to go for the better card. Gives us 7 cards in hand here. Opponent's got 23 cards and no yard. Now 22 cards. See what they do. They still have that Realm Cloak Giant that's hanging out on an adventure. It's interesting that they haven't elected to maneuver over that way yet. Time Wipe picking up Golos, I take it? Makes sense-ish. Definitely don't need land. Do we trade Teferi for another Elspeth Conquers Death? Let's Fibblethip about it. Charming Prince. I think the answer is yes. I do think we want this card to deal with troublesome permanents. I think Teferi is very good. I think we're just going to scry 2 here. Teferi's very good. I'll take both of those, actually. I know the scry won't do anything. I know the gain 3 life won't do anything, so... Let's discard Temple, because we know it's coming. And Thassa. I want to hang on to a land, because I still want to make my land drops, because there's value here. Thassa can just tap things. Agent of Treachery. Yep, that'll work. So we'll see what opponent has. So they're like 5-color, just like the old Golos deck minus the Field of the Dead, kind of. Because the old Golos decks will play Agent of Treachery as well. Alright, so good news is we can time wipe here. We can't target Thassa with Charming Prince, but we can time wipe and deputy our Thassa and then Charming Prince. So the goal will be to time wipe and we'll see what they take. If they take the Charming Prince, we're in a bit of trouble. Nah, we have a Charming Prince coming, so it's not the worst. Imagine they just take Nilatu too. Yeah. Okay, so I think we time wipe. I think we deputy. I think we Teferi.
Let's slow this down.
Plus.
That's more like
then
it.
we'll refibble. 17 cards to their 19. The Agent of Treachery is in the yard. Presumably they have no way. They could have a Tameo. But we don't have a Mystical Dispute, and Mystical Dispute ain't worth a whole lot this late in the game anyway. And we still have Elspeth Conquers Death for anything that's troublesome. Looks like they're dirtling in their yard. They might be going for a Euro. They might be going for something else. I mean, they only have 8 cards. 4 of them are Euros. Would they leave? Okay. So I do believe they have a Tameo because they kept Agent of Treachery in their yard. So Elspeth Conquers Death, I think, does have to get played. They took damage there? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but do they? What's their follow-up here? Okay. Okay, they're just casting their own Blue Giant. That's fine. Very Time Rattler is fine-ish.
Excellent timing.
Don't really care about that too much. See what they do here.
Let's try this.
Okay. I think we Charming Prince. Slide the Deputy. Elspeth Conquers Death. Get Euro. attacks.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
%, taking Teferi. Yup. Pretty sure there's already an exiled Kenrith. So they're playing 2 Kenrith, huh? See what they elect to take. So the thought process here is we could time wipe bouncing our Thassa. I think we kind of have to. We give him back to Fairy and we lose some stuff, but that's fine. No, we can't do that. Because it's not a creature. Okay. So that wipes everything. It doesn't leave him with a lot. It leaves him with Teferi activation, but that's definitely a big misplay. You figure I play enough Commander that I know about the devotion thing, and I just didn't even think about it. It happens. But it's still digging. Okay, looks like they're itching to try to get back the Euro. But now they've gone under, so they're making a declaration that they can win the game. So the good news is we get to just bounce our Thassa. We recast our Thassa. Let's just play the Charming Prince. No, let's play the Elite Guard Mage. Elspeth Conquers Death. Yeah, I think we end. Do we want to do this? Because they're going to play the Euro. Yeah, that's fine. We'll draw our cards. Because now we're kind of declaring we can win. Scry 2. I don't want either of those. So that's nice. And then we get to draw a card, which is not a card I particularly want either. Let me just make sure I'm not insane about the Agent of Treachery. 1, 2. And we have 3 in our list, so. This is crazy if this is game 1. It's a long game 1.
Want me to phase you out of time?
Sure.
Let's try this.
I think that's fine. I mean, I don't really lose much there. Looks like they were just more itching to draw a card than anything else. But now they put Teferi at risk of being blocked. I think they have to Euro here. I'm going to get them with Elspeth Conquers Death. Your results. Sure. Oh, more treachery, huh? Yep. I That's a problem. I'm trying to think how we handle this. I'm going to Castle Vantress, I think, here. Brazen Borrower. I don't think that's good enough. I don't think that's good enough. That definitely is not good enough. That is good enough. This should be good enough.
I've got it.
I'm going to Elspeth Conquer's Death to get rid of the Agent of Treachery so there's no shenanigans. Should have played the Hollow Fountain because I don't even want to crack that. Teferi doesn't do much here. We need to get this opponent dead pretty fast, though. All they can do is plus the Teferi.
Trust me, I have a plan.
There's a good draw.
Trust me, you'll thank me later.
And to bounce their own Euro.
Time for Plan B.
I'm still digging. Yeah, it doesn't much matter. Can't activate. We have 6 cards to do a thing. It's not a whole lot. I don't want to draw cards off this trigger.
I've got time.
That's a problem. I don't think I can get them fast enough. So I could have bounced the Agent of Treachery with Teferi. Is definitely a way I could have gone about that. I still can, so it's not like I'm dead on board here. But I have to answer some stuff. But I still have the Deputy Detention in my hand. Dasa can easily tap things down. Elspeth Conquer's Death is going to do some work. don't know if there's a creature I really want to get back. Probably just like a Brazen Borrower. What in the world are they doing with that Hydro Crisis? 100% resolves. Man, that was an ace play because they still have enough to get around my Mystical Dispute. Oh, and they're under Teferi. That was still cool. I don't know if we can beat this. Opponent drew like crazy good there. I don't know if he actually wanted that. Oh no, they didn't have us on the
I've
there.
done the hero thing before.
So what is opponent doing? I still think the answer is just, oh no, we can take this Deputy of Detention. We can definitely bounce the Arboreal Breaker.
That's more like it.
I think we're safe to bounce this. So I have some other lands is the thing. Hydro Crisis will die from state-based effects unless we just eat their Teferi. So that's not bad. Sure.
I am not going to sit this one out.
Not much I can do, I don't think. What are you doing? Are you gonna, like, fuck up? Sure. Did they not use their own Teferi? They did not use their own Teferi first. Alright, well actually it's probably smarter so they didn't own more permanents of mine.
Idea.
I don't think there's anything we can do. Oh, I don't think there's anything we can do. Yeah. Scoopsville. Opponent playing 3 Agent of Treachery was unexpected. I did make a couple pretty boneheaded plays in there. Okay. Mystical Dispute is questionable, but not the worst. Dovin's Veto. Do we want Dovin's Veto? I don't think we want Dovin's Veto. What are we looking to counter? Golos, Agent of Treachery, none of that really matters. Aether Gust, Avowed Decree don't really matter. Brazen Borrower's not great. Alright, so what's crummy? I mean, nothing's too bad. Like, questionably Brazen Borrower. But it's not bad to get out of locks with the Agent of Treachery. So maybe we bring that in. I don't know about the Mystical Disputes. Time Wipe is okay. Maybe Fibblethip comes out. Artifacts and enchantments don't matter in this match. I don't know about the Dovin's Veto. I don't know if there's anything we want to veto. I'll just go up on Mystical Disputes. We'll see how that goes. Well, you got in a grindy one, everybody. You got a grindy one. We got the aggro match, now we got the anti-aggro match. Yikes. These hands have been bad. I don't think we can afford to go lower than this. I think we bottom the Elspeth Conquers Death, because we're pretty far from that. And we keep this otherwise. But this is not a good hand. But the Brazen Borrowers maybe give us a chance if we can draw a land to try to get a little aggro with everything. That's the hope, anyway. We'll see what opponent does. Got a round clock going. Opponent's gonna scry. I don't know if this chess clock. I don't know if I'm familiar with the chess clock coming up here, but I would move faster if I were opponent. A pretty easy bounce something if they play it, potentially. Depending on what it is. Okay. Temple's fine. Cavalier can go to the bottom, because we're just looking for more land at this point. Again, we'll just bounce off Brazen Borrower if we need to. Okay.
Sorry I'm late.
Just pick them up.
Don't worry, I got this.
And we'll see what we can do from here. So I'm thinking more Hydro Crystals. It's interesting. I think I'm fine giving them cards if they want to tap out again for the Crisis.
Stop. No, I am not making this up as I go.
Okay. Let's play Thassa. Then we get our Prince going. Potentially bounce with Brazen Borrower. Potentially just play the Brazen Borrower. We'll see. Opponent scooped him up. That seems like a bit of a preemptive concession. May mean that they don't think that they boarded correctly against us. I don't know. It seems preemptive. Maybe they just didn't think the hand was good enough to close out the game in the amount of time they had. I definitely think the Brazen Borrower plan is a good one. I don't... Oh, opponent scooped again. Okay. Opponent just got sick of that match. Good enough, I guess. Well, kind of sucky way to win the second one. But that's interesting, yeah. I don't know. Maybe opponent just had to go. But that's kind of a look at the deck. I'll pull it up one more time as I do my little end of the video spiel. Sorry I couldn't get a third one in. This is running a bit long. It's over an hour for a standard video. It's not usually our bag. But usually we don't do traditional. But I thought this was a cool, interesting deck. Something a little different. And I think it's you can see it's got some legs. I think Mono Red is the toughest matchup for it, and I think we did okay. The long grindy matchups I think are a little bit more favorable. I am definitely not the tightest player with this deck you could watch by a long shot. This is literally, I played a few games before I jumped on for the video, so I wasn't completely cold for you all, but I really think that the deck is interesting and it's got some legs, and I'll continue to play it for sure because it's kind of fun and interesting. But I am definitely liking parts of it, not liking other things about it. It's interesting. Cavalier of Dawn is an interesting one. I'm not 100% on yet. I think the Deputy Detentions are definitely good. I think we saw how powerful they could be, so I definitely liked them. In a world of Hydroid crises and things that we could get off the board, Planeswalkers and things like that, I think the Deputy is kind of a standout. So I think overall it's a pretty sweet deck. And, you know, let me know what success you've had with it. Let me know what shortcomings you think the deck has. I'd love to talk about it and kind of unpack it and see if this deck has, you know, some legs. And, of course, thanks for checking out the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do. There's a new video on here every single Thursday, so we got that going for us. If you like this Magic Arena stuff, we stream every single Sunday on twitch.tv/superliminalfilms. And you can check our website, superliminalfilms.com, all of that good stuff. And I just want to thank you all for taking the time to hang out and watch a cool deck, and just let you know, as always, cast more spells.